Hello,
Hello.
hello, he-
Hello. Hey,
he-
Eric.
hello,
Hello,
Sarah.
Mr. Eric Miranda. How's it going?
Good. What do you? How do you say hello in Swedish?
Halloa.
Hello,
Halloa. Yeah.
hello. It sounds Hawaiian. Aloha, aloha.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live stream. This is Sarah Charismata and Eric Miranda coming to you live on this Monday morning for Eric. He's in New York City, so it's 7 a.m. for Eric. I'm over here in Stockholm, Sweden, and it's 1 p.m. How you
Yeah,
feeling, Eric?
I'm feeling good. It's it's interesting because I'm up at 6, but to be on at 6, like we're going to be doing, that's a rough one because of my coffee ritual, and we're not trash talking coffee in the morning because people in New York are just waking up right now. They can't handle that shit. Somebody said to me, "Why are you guys being such a downer about coffee when I'm having my morning coffee?" I just said morning. I just hit you with a full line and accent.
Sounding
Morning,
like a real New Yorker this morning.
real New Yorker this morning.
Yeah.
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Sorry, I just spit my gum out on live, but that's
Live
how we
on.
do it.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, I'm trying to not be so, I'm trying to be a little bit more um, eloquent. Um, no, I'm doing pretty good. This morning I did some hot yoga and I'm feeling pretty good. I had a rough weekend, but back on track
Cool,
and
cool.
excited to do this show
All
with
right,
you, Eric.
so who's the guy now? I know we're going to be talking about Ozempic and Kate Moss's sister, who I didn't know existed. Um, I know we're going to be talking about who else? Any P Diddy?
um, I don't know. I don't know if I want to talk about P. Diddy because I mean we can, but it's just another lawsuit after lawsuit, and a part of me is just kind of over it. I'm just like, at this point, we all know, he's messed up. He's a monster, and I don't know. I just feel like it's like the news is just like oversaturated with like Diddy news, and we get it. Like he's done. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
over. You know.
Yeah.
But there is another lawsuit against Diddy. One of his former band members is basically coming out and accusing him of like more or less the same stuff as the others. It's like
Ma-
sexual
ma-
assault, it's abuse, all of
male,
these
or, male
things.
or female?
Well, there's another female, but there's also a male who's actually in prison right now who accused him of drugging him and sexually assaulting him. Um, and Diddy failed to appear in court, and therefore there was like a default judgment against him. So he has to pay $100 million to this guy who's in prison. I mean, they're probably gonna file a motion to dismiss it, but as far as I know, Diddy owes this man in prison $100 million.
That is so
So we'll
weird.
see.
First of all, can you
Yeah.
imagine being able to be sued for $100 million? Like if somebody sued me for $100 million, I was like, dude, like you're making me look good. So that's like one thing, but look, when I saw that assault in the hotel, I mean it was sickening. But I'm
Yeah.
going to ask you a really crazy question. When you're like a rough, tough, um, did he grow up in New York City? Is he a Harlem guy?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's a New Yorker, yeah.
So when you're like a black man in New York City, the worst thing culturally that your boys can find out about you, or at least in his generation, our generation, is that you're gay. So I wonder if he's thinking jail and lawsuits, or holy cow, people are finding out that I like dudes. Like I
Oh, I
said,
mean, the cat's out of the bag. The cat's been out of the bag for Diddy as far as like, the gay rumors. It's been I mean, those rumors have been, you know, going on for, I mean, since the 90s, more or
right.
less. And honestly, at this point, I feel like in the black hip hop community, it's not even a thing anymore. Like, oh my God, that person is gay. It's like at this point, we just assume that everyone is gay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what it's come to, right?
Well,
Because of all of these exposés happening, the
yep.
assumption is that if you're a black male rapper, you're gay
Is that like
until proven otherwise, basically. Whereas before it used to be the opposite, right? It
right,
was
right.
like all these womanizers, all the like the music videos back in the day, like all the hip hop, like misogynistic. So it was just um almost like overcompensating a little bit, and now we're finding out that all these like really super masculine guys the whole time were like, taking it in the
Uh,
for whatever are you gonna be. So I don't know, but
that's the new 808.
yeah,
the new
basically.
the new
So
beat. Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing you mentioned because you mentioned womanizing. Is womanizing a prelude to having sex with the same gender? And I ask that because isn't addiction like womanizing is like sex addiction, right? And then don't you like for me, I loved scotch so much that I couldn't drink enough scotch. So then I started supplementing scotch with drugs. Is that the same thing? Like, hey, all the women, like one woman's too many, a thousand's never enough. Let me throw some guys in there. I don't know. Is that a thing?
I think so. I think, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, think about porn, right? This is my understanding of it. You hear guys say that once they were introduced to porn, they couldn't have normal sex with women anymore because it was like the bar was set so high. Now it's like it's over sexualized. So you want more and more, like, I guess you could call it like more and more disturbing things to sort of like fulfill that fantasy. Whereas maybe before you even had a woman, the first time you had a girl, you would be satisfied just holding hands and kissing. Whereas now you're watching porn and you're seeing all these like I mean, outrageous things basically. And now that's your expectation of what sex should be like. And so I can only imagine if like if you're someone like a Diddy, like, and you have like a plethora of women, you can have anyone you want at any point. You have done everything imaginable to the human mind sexually.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't strike me as like the strangest thing for one to now all of a sudden start like, you know, wanting to like venture out and do other things, even if you're not gay, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because you're just wanting to try things, sexual things. So I don't even think it means that you're gay just because you're sleeping with another man in today's day and age. I mean, it could be, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. You could also just, you know, be wanting to sort of like feel the same high that you felt holding a girl's hand once upon a time, you know?
Right. Well, I always
Yeah.
wonder if porn helps marriages or it hurts them, and this is why. No, and listen, I'm going to tell you why. Because on the one hand, why do I have to
Can
get
we get
the?
Candace Owens in here, please? I know
Yeah.
she she says a lot about this topic.
I said no. So so if why would I have to get divorced if I could just go and have sex with 6 Japanese co-eds whenever I want, right? Then
Hmm.
why would somebody stay married if they could just go have sex with 6 Japanese co-eds? Like it's just like it really is. But what you're saying is interesting. Is like doesn't make them gay. First of all, I love that Theo Vaughn says everybody's a little gay, and what's really interesting is I'm here.
I would like a little taste of Theo
Oh,
Vaughn.
I
I'll
can't
tell you
believe
that
you
much.
smell. Oh my God, I can't imagine. How tall are you?
I'm like 5'8", 5'9",
I
probably
could.
like 5'9". Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine him walking with you through his hometown,
Aw.
holding your hand. No, he's just the man's hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, no, but
We'll
so
talk about him a little bit later on the show too. Not him specifically, but something that came up on his show. Yeah.
cool, cool. So yeah, but like the thing, you're gonna smash him.
I would honestly. Okay,
So
so okay, who wouldn't smash Theo Vaughn, right? And not
well,
to like not to gas him up, but I would rather him take me out on a date than just like a quick smash. Like I would
mhm.
like to like spend time with Theo Vaughn, you know?
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
mind for sure.
Yeah, he's a
He's so
cutie.
it's
Yeah.
so weird. But Theo Vaughn to me, like I don't know, does he do that like mullet hillbilly thing on purpose, or is that really who he is? I don't know that much
I
about
don't
him.
know. You know what I think? I think maybe it was him all along, but if you look at some of his like older stuff,
Mm-hmm.
um I probably when he first came to Hollywood, it seemed like he was perhaps trying to do the whole like go in the like handsome A-list actor, like that route, like being
Mm-hmm.
ripped and like having the perfect haircut and like the Hollywood smile and like the look that most actors go for. And I feel like maybe he was trying to be in that lane, but maybe deep inside he was always kind of like a little bit more unhinged. The way, I
Mhm.
mean, I wouldn't say he's unhinged now, but like he seems a bit more free in his expression,
I
and I think it's refreshing, right?
yeah. I love
Yeah.
when I love when he points to his hair. He's like, nobody asks you to do things when you have this hair. It's like hilarious. But anyway, all right, so let's you want to talk Ozempic? By the way,
Yeah,
I
let's
have a
talk about.
feeling these stories are not going away this week. By the like, as I have a
No.
feeling we're going to be talking about this Ozempic every day forever.
Yeah, Ozempic has been here for a while. People have been talking about it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, as you said, this isn't going to go anywhere because this is billion-dollar industry, baby.
Mm-hmm.
What are they called? Like Nova Nordic, I think they're called. I'm not Nordic Nova or something like that, but it's a actually European company,
Mm-hmm.
um, pharmaceutical company that started Ozempic,
Right.
but it's consumed mainly in the US and not
Right.
in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So the business is in the US specifically because of like obesity and diabetes and stuff in the US. But again, this is like not going anywhere. It's gone from select few celebrities using it and maybe people with actual diabetes to like now everyone is like, let me get the shot, you know?
Right.
But okay, so we're gonna talk about this because first of all, hold on, let me share the screen real quick. And please tell me if I'm like being too loud on this mic, because
No,
sometimes I
you're
feel
good.
like
You're good. You're good. You know what's
all
weird?
right,
I have this kind of radio guy voice in the morning. I like my.
yeah.
I don't have my twang. I don't have my twang yet. I kind of feel like
Twang,
I'm gonna be like that radio guy.
twang. So every
Um,
once in a while, I'll like burst out in song just so people know that I'm actually a singer.
yeah, I could see at 7:12 in the morning. I don't think I can do that.
Huh?
Like
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like right now,
All
I have
right.
to be
So
like.
I'm gonna share the screen real quick.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, that was the wrong screen. Give me a second. So that was the article that I read. But I think I want to get us the video.
The
Um,
video. Video killed the radio star.
Video killed. Okay, so this is. Can you see on the screen, Eric?
I see her.
All right, this is Mrs. I don't know, Lottie Moss. This is Kate Moss's sister. Which, by the way, again, like I had never heard of her. Who is she?
I don't know, but
She has.
I hope her middle name's not Da, because she'd be Lottie Da Moss. Lottie is her name?
All right, guys. All right.
Sorry.
Calm down, calm down. Okay. Okay, so she has what, about 600 subscribers. So this seems like a new account.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like making headways in the news. I think I saw it on TMZ even. Anyway, so Lottie Moss, she described her experience with Ozempic. My Ozempic hell, she calls it. All right,
Mm-hmm.
let's listen to what she has to say.
Not feeling happy with my weight. I had a kind of fad that's going on right now is Ozempic. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I definitely tried it. I mean, a few months ago, I was not feeling happy with my weight. I had a friend and she could get it for me. And it was kind of below board. I'm not going to lie. It was from a doctor, but it wasn't like you go into the doctor's office and he prescribes it to you. He takes your blood pressure and he takes all of these tests, which is what you need if you're going to go on something like Ozempic. Because at the end of the day, it is a medication, it is dangerous. It's not really meant for weight loss of people that aren't, of a very large size. Like it's, as in when I was taking it, the amount that I was taking was actually meant for people who are 100 kilos and over, and I'm in the 50s range. So it's these small things that I wish I'd known before taking it. But anyway, I took it. My friend had got it for me. You inject it into your leg, or you can inject it into other places, I think, but like the leg is probably best. And yeah, you can inject it into your stomach by injecting.
I'm sorry, I just have to stop that for a second before we continue. Like, where is the personal accountability? Like,
Well,
I didn't know this was for obese
but
people. Like, come on,
but
like
hang on, but
you're
what's
like
the
all but like 50 kilos, and you're injecting yourself with like a weight loss drug, and
how
you
many
didn't know this wasn't meant for you. Come on,
how many
all
pounds
right,
are
like
100 50 kilos?
what?
How many pounds are 50 kilos.
It's about 110 pounds.
Right. So okay, but this is what I'm cracking up about is even so she's saying, I wish I would have known. It's like, well, if you wanted to know, why didn't you actually go to the doctor instead of having your friend get it for you? Didn't she say her friend did it, or is her friend the doctor?
I missed that part actually. I missed that part. How she got it, but I mean, it was still a doctor because you can't get it without a doctor. It's a prescription drug.
Right.
So whether it was a friend doctor or just a doctor, it's still
Like, all right. So now, what's really crazy to me though is she's like, she looks like a string bean. She's like, I'll admit I've done Ozempic. That would be like me being like, hey, I'll admit I've done scotch. It's like she's like wasted on the stuff almost as she's talking about. Like, she's withered.
you know, I'm happy that she is actually coming out and talking about it because
She
we hear so
should.
many. I think it's great actually, and I commend her for that. But on some level, I mean, I don't know. I would like expect a little bit more honesty in saying that. Listen, I just wanted to get skinnier, and that's why I
Right.
did this, even though I know that it was probably not meant for me, right?
Right.
All right, let's listen to. Let's continue listening. Let me just reshare this. Or actually, is it still on?
I don't see it on the screen.
Oh wait, hold on. Right now, okay, it's
Cool.
on now.
Yep.
Okay.
Into my leg to like feel less sick. And when I tell you it was the worst decision I ever made. So if this is a warning to anyone, please, if you're thinking about doing it, do not take it. Like, it's so not worth it. I would rather diet any day than take that again. It made me feel so nauseous. I took it for 2 weeks, and you get like a pen and then it comes with different doses. And you take one injection 1 week, one injection the next week, and you take it like every week. And I've never felt so sick in my life. I was throwing up. It was horrible. I took a lower dosage the first time I took it. Then I went up higher. And I ended up being in bed for like 2 days, I think, at one point, and felt so sick. My weight had dropped. I think like I started at about 60 kilos. And then I went down to about 57 with the first sort of dose. Then I went down to like 54. Like, it was crazy. I think my lowest was 53. And in terms of like in a few weeks, that's not a healthy weight loss and that's not a healthy drop. And when I was in bed for those 2 days, and it was sort of the end of it, and I was just like wanting to come off of it, because it's not like you can stop taking it. It's like a pill or something that you just don't take when you wake up in the morning. Like, it's in your system and it's there. And I felt so sick one day. I'd said to my friend, like, I can't keep any water down. I can't keep any food down, like no liquids, nothing.
All right.
Dude, she was down to 88 pounds. 40 kilos is 88 pounds. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. Okay, so do you hear an echo, by the way? As
I
I'm
don't
talking?
hear an echo.
Echo. Oh,
Echo.
okay. So I actually tuned into Tucker Carlson had someone on his show. I think his name was Callie Means. I hope I'm not getting his name wrong.
I just want to let you know that woman of color from Sweden, Tucker Carlson. That's what I think all the time. That's
Okay,
I'm like,
listen.
who's listening to Tucker Carlson? Oh, it's definitely like a black woman from Sweden.
Okay, so I'm an equal opportunist. I don't like regularly watch Tucker Carlson. I don't like follow Tucker Carlson. Honestly, I'm just like an equal opportunist on YouTube. Like, if there's an interesting topic, I don't really care who's broadcasting it. I'll listen. And then I'll form my own opinion, right? But yeah, like,
Listen,
yeah,
I'm not
Tucker
gonna give
Carlson, I do sometimes watch your show, a black woman in Sweden. Okay.
That's great.
Okay, so yeah, so he had this Callie Means on his show, and it was really interesting because he was talking about what Ozempic actually does to your body, right? So he called it like stomach paralysis, because that's essentially what it does. It paralyzes your stomach, so it's not working at all. So you essentially can't eat. And I've actually heard people say that what Ozempic actually does to them is that it just takes away their appetite, because essentially your stomach stops functioning. So you can't eat even if you wanted to, right? Because you'll have gastrointestinal issues and a lot of pain. But what's happening, there's a lot of backlash happening right now, because people within 1 year of taking it are like, people are quitting the drug because of they're having so many gastrointestinal issues and so much pain and a lot of suicidal ideation because you know I guess serotonin, like our, happy feeling, whatever, it's all produced in the gut. And so when you start messing with your gut, you're also messing with the like neuroreceptors and, serotonin, all that stuff. So um, it's a big, I mean, I think it's quite scandalous that this diabetes and weight loss drug that was intended for people that actually need it, that it's been using so
Oh, yeah.
recklessly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, but this is my my question. If look at the amount of people dying. One time one of my family members went on an antidepressant. And I was like, the drug companies, and she's like, fuck you. She said, I'd rather be happy and die in 10 years than miserable for 20. And I was like, that's an interesting concept. If you look at all the people dying from obesity, I understand that people are abusing it like Kate Moss's sister, who's a string bean. But I'm thinking when I watch like my 600-pound life, which I'm obsessed with, and when I watch
Me
1,000 pound,
too. I love it.
And I'm thinking like, oh, by the way, Amy got arrested.
Which one's Amy?
Uh,
Oh, are you talking about the two sisters?
Yeah, that one.
Well,
Do you
that's not
watch?
600-pound life.
And
That's 1,000-pound sisters. Okay.
Right. Do you watch
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one? Because Amy Slayton.
I haven't seen it so much. I know the characters, but I haven't really watched it that
Yeah,
much. I know it's
this
Tammy and Amy. Yeah.
Amy got busted because she had her kid in the car and she was smoking weed. It was like this weird story. But I don't watch the news, but somebody sent that. They were like, I think this news you'll watch.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I'm thinking when you see somebody who's 700 pounds and like get them on Ozempic. And I'm going to tell you something interesting. Sheila was listening to Andrew Sullivan. He's like this kind of like, American writer. He can be a little controversial because he's kind of like a left winger and a right winger all at the same time. But he had a guy on. Food companies in the United States were writing letters to the Ozempic guy saying, "Hey, you're putting us out of business." Like so you have the big food companies complaining to pharma that you're ruining our business because people aren't eating as much. That's nuts. Think about that, right?
Yeah, that's actually really interesting.
So everything's profit. So we're not putting human interest in front. We're putting like business interest before human interest. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy, right?
yeah. But they do kind of like go hand in hand, right? Because the food industry creates the problem, and then the big pharma comes in to save the day, right?
Right.
It's like I think I don't know where I'm getting this from. It could have been the same show, but so apparently 10% of food stamps in America go towards like soda.
Right.
10%. Soda is just like liquid sugar, right?
Right.
And this is government, right? And then big pharma again comes in and saves the day with like, here we have this drug, or for whatever it is, for heart, for diabetes, for heart issues, for this and that. And when the real solution is from get-go is just the diet and exercise, right?
So I when I lived in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, it was before it was like really gentrified, and I had an office. I had a recording studio, and then my friend had his office, and then I had an apartment upstairs. So I worked for him. So I had this kind of crazy like 3 things going on in my building. So I never had to leave home. When I would go to the delis downstairs, or the bodegos, that's what they say. Bodega.
La bodega.
I say bodego because I'm like
You should
Italian.
know this. You're a New Yorker.
Because I'm also not that bright. So anyway, so the bodega, I'd go in there, and if you wanted to get a bottle of water, you had to go all the way to the end of the beverage cases because it's Orangina. They have all these cool purple sodas from like the Dominican Republic. And like so in other words, it's gallons and gallons and gallons of sugar, and you walk way to the back, and there's like a case of water in the bottom of this. It's like crazy. So
I mean, consider like, I'm sorry, go on.
No, but they're no, it's fine. They're in other words, it's like predatory. And the people setting up the cases are like sugar, water if you need it, sugar. It's like crazy. But now the thing about the food stamps going to soda, a roommate of mine, she used to argue, if you're going to get food stamps, you shouldn't be. And I'm like, hang on a second. If you give people relief and then tell them how to spend it, you're kind of taking away their liberty. Like, I don't, giving people conditional help from the government seems a little shady because that's like moralizing, right? Now, it is tragic that 10% goes to soda. However, like, you got to think liberty with that. If I give you money with conditions, am I really helping you or am I controlling you?
Mm.
So
That's a very good point. Another interesting thing about Ozempic and what we're talking about, the food industry, is that I guess the NAACP is like a lobbyist organization for Ozempic. Like they're pro Ozempic. And I
wait, is it
think
is it,
this is so wild to me. Like it's like a whole scheme. It's like um I guess they're saying that you know what? Let me think about that. I'm not really sure where I got that from.
well?
But
So are they saying? Look, there's like this weird thing, and I'm going to tell you
hold
this.
on, let me look it up as you talk because
Okay,
I'm pretty sure I read something about it. Yeah.
I'm going to say this as a white guy.
Yeah.
I hear now. I've heard like activists in the black community saying that fitness is like a white thing, like a white construct, which is so ridiculous
Mhm.
because if you look at the average like African American male living in Africa, if they're not in New York eating, like there's a fitness that like it's such a natural, like I could never get as shredded as some of my black friends. They just have these perfect physiques. So to say that like weight gain is a white construct is ridiculous. It's a food thing. It's a lack of education, and it's predators in the food companies going after kids in the ghetto. That's just a fact. Like, say what you want, tell me I'm off the rails, call me racist, call me white privilege. And I think the NAACP, they're probably advocating for Ozempic because they realize that obesity is killing young
Right.
minorities.
That's what this article is saying. So okay, so the company is called Novo Nordisk, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a European, I don't know what country, pharmaceutical company. And so it says that they have turned to influential Black Americans in pursuit of having Medicare cover this new class of weight loss drugs. So
Mm-hmm.
they're basically saying like, like obesity and diabetes is a big
It's the big killer.
issue in the Black community. So therefore, not prescribing Ozempic as a solution would be considered like, I guess, discriminatory or something like that, which I can see the argument, but again, the main argument would be like, why are 10% of food stamps going towards soda?
Well, look, that's a
right?
lack of
That's the real issue in the first place, right?
the biggest issues in what the Americans. Well, I'm not even going to say because I go to England and I see the same thing. The thing that's going on is we don't educate kids about money and nutrition. We don't educate them about history or anything anymore either. But the fact that nutrition should be the first thing a kid learns about in school. How many times have you had friends who say, "Oh no, I ate this bag of chips. It's only 100 calories," and you're like, "Per serving, it's actually 350 because it's 3.5 You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so even the fact, I think food should say, "Hey, I'm looking at a package." It should say how many calories are in that package, not per serving. So they're tricking me. So we need to educate people on. We need to properly educate people. But the food companies are not going to allow governments to teach people to not eat their crap. Everything is for profit, you know.
Everything is for profit.
So anyway, but let's get back to Lottie Moss. She started at 120 pounds. If she's tall like her sister,
110, I think. Oh, no, she says 60 kilos, right?
Yeah.
Or 50. Either way, 110, 120 still is like, for most people, that would be considered underweight or maybe,
oh my God! And then she
depending
got
on her height, maybe average weight, but
Can we find
definitely
out
not overweight.
how? Let me see. How tall is How do you spell her name? Ladi.
Lottie. Poor Lottie. Sorry, Lottie.
Oh,
We're just using you as an example. We
okay.
have love for you, and we hope that you feel better.
Yeah, she's 5'6". That's not tall, but that's not short.
Yeah.
And so now
But
she was
still average height. I mean, average weight for that height.
okay.
I mean, she looks fantastic. So it's not like just by looking at her, obviously you can tell that she didn't need it for weight loss.
So let me ask you this though. So now, what about? So look, one of the most horrifying things to me, and I mean this, and I have compassion. So when I say this, this is not a judgment. Maybe it is a judgment, but in New York City, it's not uncommon to see a person overweight in an electric wheelchair driving around town going to the store.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
we poison people. They get diabetes and obesity, and then we pay for their wheelchair, right? Everybody, there are government agencies who need that money, like they need to justify their existence. There are food companies who put that poor woman in the wheelchair. So why would we educate people out of this disaster if everybody is on the take? And it's crazy, right? So, but
yeah.
I would certainly rather, look, if I were in a wheelchair because of obesity, give me that drug, shoot it right in my nads. I swear to God, like, I don't want to be, I would rather see people, the challenge of that drug sounds like a challenge, but the challenge of being 400 pounds is really, really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And in our society with like, everything's about appearance, and people always like, so I have these two pretty famous friends. I'm not friendly. I mean, I'm friendly with them. We're not pals, but Anthony Edwards from ER and Mayor Winningham. She was in St. Elmo's Fire. I was at a party and they saw that I lost all this weight, and they're like, "Eric, there's nothing better than taking care of your health." And I'm like, "Health?" I'm like, "This is about my vanity." You know what I mean? But can you imagine being stuck in a wheelchair, 400 pounds, and not having access to Ozempic, and then all these pop stars are taking it so they can look like Kurt Cobain? She does
Yeah,
look
I
a little
mean
bit
it's
like Kurt Cobain, by the way.
yeah, I mean it is a shame, especially if it's when it's people that actually do have resources to healthy food and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been amazing for them to be an example actually to people that are watching.
Yep.
And it's also very expensive, I think, because you have to take Ozempic for life. Like if you stop taking it, it will undo. Well, first of all, you will have gastrointestinal issues regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also you will I mean, you will gain the weight back, right?
Right.
So
But
I
hang
say
on. But
that to say that it costs a lot of money. I think they said 20,000, and I'm not sure if that was 20,000 a year that it would cost, or if it was like a lifetime. I'm not sure, but still 20,000 is a lot. Yeah,
being in a wheelchair, buying wheelchair, I'll pay $20,000 in taxes towards somebody going from 400 pounds to 180 any day of the week, because that sounds like a better alternative. There's too many. But again, it's a money system. So why would we educate people out of this disaster? You know what I mean? Like I'm literally, I have a friend who took Ozempic for diabetes, and he was a little bit overweight. He lost the weight. I gotta see if he'll come on the show. But I
that'd be
don't know.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but everything is for profit, right? So if everything's for profit, we don't have an incentive. The corporations are running the country at this point. They're running all Western countries. Why would they allow the people, their puppets in government, to actually educate people on how to save money, because they make money from people borrowing money, and how to be healthy when they get to, like we talk about the military industrial complex, we should be talking about the food industrial complex. Ugh.
yeah.
Ah.
All right. Actually, with that, I would like to segue into Nikocado avocado.
Tell me about Nikocado Avocado, because I don't know who this is. I know the name, but what's
Okay,
going on?
this is actually upsetting to me. Okay, so Nikocado avocado. I think if I show you, it'll be easier. Okay.
Yep.
Um, so Nikocado avocado is a YouTuber, quite famous YouTuber,
Mm-hmm.
and he used to be probably like 150 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And now he's Jelly Roll?
and then he gained 250 pounds to become 400 pounds, right? And
On
he was doing
purpose?
this. He was doing this because he was doing these mukbang videos. Have you heard of mukbang? It's basically when you get. I mean, look, on the screen. Like when you get huge amounts of food, probably like 10,000 calories in one sitting, and you eat, and the audience basically watches you eat, and that's sort of like
I
a
did it
form
on
of
the show.
entertainment.
I did
Right,
I did a Sicilian pie.
you had like one pizza. This guy would have like 10 pizzas, right?
Wow.
Okay, so this is what he used to look like, right?
Mhm.
Hold on.
Mukbang.
Mukbang. That's what
I'm
it's
going to
called.
become a mukbang tuber.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Do I have to do it every day?
Okay, so this is what he.
I'm going to take a piece of tofu.
This is what he used to look
I'm going
like
to take a piece of
when he
green.
started 8 years ago.
That's
Okay?
That's a big piece. Hold on.
Normal guy, just eating, putting on a show.
Right.
Fast forward.
Now this is already super, super full of mayo. Like they did
He
a
kept
really good
doing
job
it.
this time.
Look,
Outside here. Ooh, it's hot and steamy.
Mhm.
This is what he used to be like,
Here I go.
and then
Let's get these fries out of
he
here.
gained all the way up to 400 pounds. Hold on, let me show you another video.
This is
Not
amazing.
only was he gaining a bunch of weight, he was also just kind of spiraled with his mental health, it seemed like, right? Which is not surprising, because if you gain 250 pounds, that's going to do something to your mental health, right? So he went from this sort of like sweet guy, just like, calm and collected, to being really outrageous like this.
And I'm not even happy about this. So you, cheapers, creepers, fiddles,
So,
eggs. It's
wow.
the treadmill's fault. Treadmill's fault, you crazy. Oh, it's my blue. Got it, Charlie.
Yeah. Anyway, so he would just have these meltdowns, basically.
So you want to hear how pathetic I am? You're showing me this video, and I'm like, okay, he started off lean and little. Now he's 400 pounds.
Wait, that's not the end of the story.
But my first thought is, how many followers does he have now?
Oh, well, he got, by doing this, he gained like millions of followers. He became really popular, right? Because it's outrageous, it's obscene. That's what people want to see, right?
Right.
Like in a sense, people want to live vicariously, right? Like who doesn't want to throw down 10,000 calories worth of like fries and ice cream and just like, and be okay, right? So by watching someone else do it, maybe you feel like you're able to do it vicariously, but you don't have to suffer the consequences, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why this is news now in the past week is because he pretty much left the internet for a year after doing this for 8 years. So he gained 250 pounds. So he was over 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just resurfaced on the internet, having lost all the weight.
Wow.
So this is, yeah. And he did it in a very interesting way, because he just pretty much disappeared for 7 months or so. And he had already, he said that he lost the weight over the course of 2 years, but he disappeared from the internet for 7 months. And during that time, he was uploading like pre-recorded videos. So people didn't know that he had lost weight, that he was losing weight.
Right.
And let me see. So then he shows up, and
he's a teddy bear?
He shows up, and this is where he is.
Year after year.
This is where he is now, right?
Year.
Yeah.
For as long as I tell the internet that I am the villain, stories that permeate and linger and infect the minds of the ants.
Wow. So that's him.
That's him. And what's interesting about this is that when he came back, he said, oh, this was part of a social experiment. But I find this troubling because, first of all, there's no social experiment in gaining weight just to lose it. Like we've seen it 1,000 times, million
Unless
times.
you're Robert De Niro in Raging Bull.
Right. There's no social experiment in it, actually. I think he gained all that weight and felt crappy and realized that it wasn't worth the subscribers and the views and the money, being 400 pounds and having mental health issues and most likely just like physical health issues, and lost the weight. But in order to like save face, that's why he's saying it was a social experiment. But either way, whether it was a social experiment or not in his mind, you still gained all that weight. And I mean, I don't know. Gaining 250 pounds can't come without any consequences, right? Both internally and externally. Now you probably have all this loose skin just from the outside, but I'm sure on the inside, there's also a lot of consequences to having, done this. And I just find it actually, maybe morally reprehensible. Maybe that's too strong of a word, but I don't think he should be cheered on for doing this. I mean, great that he lost the weight. Fantastic. It was really awful seeing him be the size that he was and acting the way he was. But I don't think you should take this lightly. This is a huge problem for a lot of people in the world with eating disorders, obesity. I don't think it's basically saying that, hey, I just injected myself with a disease of some sort to show you guys that I can heal from it. Like, it's just very irresponsible. I don't support it. But this is a big headline right now because of the way he resurfaced and nobody knew that he had lost the weight, basically.
Now, let me ask you on a morally reprehensible, whatever. What do you think of this? So I ate a pizza on my show. It was one of my highest viewed shows, by the way. I ate a whole Sicilian pie, 5,000 calories, minimal, right? I also fasted earlier in the week, and I took a picture of me on the beach like this, shredded. And I did that, and then I went right back to like eating healthy, working out. If I were to do a show like Nikocado Avocado, Nick Avo. If I were to do that, would you support me doing that if my videos posted throughout the week were me on the treadmill, running, jumping rope, playing paddleball, kettlebell, lifting weights, and then showing people that you can eat disgustingly overly and still be fit? Is that different, or is that just the same?
There are people that do that. There's actually a guy called Eric the Electric who does exactly. Have you seen him?
He's amazing. My daughter sent him to me, and she was like, Dad, she's like, you got nothing on. I literally saw him go to like Panda, and he ordered everything on the menu and ate it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But there's definitely room for more people like that. And I'm going to be, should I tell people my age? I'm 59 years old. If I can have a six pack and do that, which I think I can, I think that's pretty interesting. Do you support that?
I don't support that because I think it's very disordered. I think that this is what I think. And I'm saying this as someone who's struggled with food in the past, specifically with like restricting and then binging and then feeling guilty. But I think, and there was a time for me even, I used to also have, they call it exercise bulimia. It's basically when you overeat, like you binge and then you over exercise to get rid of the calories that you just consumed, right? And when I say it's excessive exercise, it's excessive. It can be like 5 to 8 hours a day or something, right? Like that, right? And I think that people that sort of like make a career out of like binge eating and then losing the weight and training really hard, I think there is probably an eating disorder happening in the background, and they're trying to find a way to, instead of healing themselves, they're trying to find a way to live with it.
Okay.
And for me, just before you continue, when I was an exercise bulimic, when I used to over-exercise like this, I convinced myself that, okay, I can't stop exercising, so why don't I make a career out of exercise? So I went ahead and got a personal trainer license because I was like, I can't stop exercising, so I might as well make a career out of it, right? Instead of actually healing from my over-exercise issues, right? So like the intention behind it for me wasn't a healthy one, right? And I think when you see people like Eric the Electric, Eric the Electric used to have an eating disorder. He's actually made tons of videos about it where he talks about that he used to have an eating disorder. So for me, when he does what he does, when he's like consuming 20,000 calories, I think
it's still the eating disorder.
It's entertaining, sure, but it's still heartbreaking because I know that he's in pain. No human being can consume 20,000 calories in one sitting and not be in physical pain. So I cannot consume this as entertainment. That's it.
So now, that being said, there are programs for debtors. So if I go to Debtors Anonymous because I can't make money, right? if I go to Debtors Anonymous because I can't make money, and then you go to Overeaters Anonymous because your food disorder, doesn't what Eric the Electric is doing, he's making so much money, does that take care of one program? So like I'm just trying to
I mean, listen, if you're gonna have a disorder and you can make money off of it, better than not making money off of it. But ideally, I would like to see people be healthy in mind and body and soul. And I know that if you're consuming, and I'm speaking from my own experience because I've had situations where I've probably consumed 5,000 calories in one sitting, or maybe even 10,000 calories throughout the course of a day,
Hmm.
and then felt like freaking suicidal after, right?
Right.
Because there is no way your mental health can be good when you do that. It's the same as any drug. Like for the people in the back, sugar is a drug, right? It's a drug like any
Totally
other
agree.
drug, right?
Hmm. 100%.
It's socially acceptable, so we don't talk about it in that regard, but it's a drug. So like how can you feel good um consuming that much sugar? It's just not possible. That's
No,
it.
I listen. I'm in agreement with you on that. All right. All right. So Diddy, we talked about Diddy. We talked about Nico. The avocado guy. I got to check him out now. My daughter and my son were also talking about a guy named Glitch, Twitch,
Twitch,
Switch. What's his name?
a guy
A guy.
named
He
that.
he was a YouTuber,
Mm-hmm.
and he had this sketch.
Mm.
And Sketch, the poor guy, he like this young kid. He somebody set him up. Like he was like, so he was having sex with this like really buff black man, and he's like a young dude, like 20, and the
Mm-hmm.
dude filmed it and then posted it. And I got
Oh,
to check out
I
Twitch.
haven't heard of that.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. And my daughter showed it to me. I was like, no, 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 this was like graphic. This was like porn. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like in a little tutu. I'm like, no, turn that off. You're not allowed to watch that. But the thing is, Sketch, his name is. I want to make sure Sketch is back on the air because this is so crazy too. Like he was like he disappeared and he has like a huge channel. And I'm like, man, that's gonna go away. People aren't gonna like that's just gonna make him more famous. But like how mean is that? That you get a YouTuber, he's calling you for sexual intrigue, and then you film him and post it? Mean. Mean. YouTube fame, it's weird. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah, you got
there's
to be
like
careful with the internet these days. Like you can't just trust anyone. Yeah, you have to be mindful that someone could always be trying to use you for entertainment
yeah.
without your knowledge, of course.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, you and I had
Mhm.
an hour-long conversation, not on the air, but on here last week, and it was streaming up into my living room. I can't hear
Oh
you.
yeah.
Oh, there you go. And you know what I mean. So like,
Oh, this you mean our show that we
no,
did?
no,
Oh,
we were talking
we're talking on the
pre-show
phone.
or
Oh.
post-show. The whole thing
Uh-huh.
was streaming on my computer upstairs.
Oh. Uh-huh.
So if I got all breathy with you, like Sheila's up having coffee, and I'd be like, "Hey, Sarah, I can't hear you. What happened? I didn't hear that last thing you said. I'm sorry." But it's like, so you got to be careful what you're saying and doing because there are cameras everywhere, and sometimes it's your camera in your home. I mean,
Yeah.
look at how many guys Joe Rogan talked about on his latest special. How many like executive men went down during the pandemic because they got caught like playing with themselves on Zoom calls.
Which they do anyway. They just got caught basically.
Well, but it's just like horrible. Like, listen, if there's one, but that is so weird. Like, are they looking at porn or are they getting off on some woman in the meeting? That's the question.
Probably both. Probably both.
Listen,
Hey, just quick question.
yeah, no,
My
I've never
my
gotten
lab
caught on Zoom.
no. Wait, like I'm trying to figure out this is a live show, so there's gonna be moments like this, so bear with us. But my laptop is gonna die and like I have my I don't know how to charge it while
All right. Well,
have it plugged into
we have 11
I
minutes
I
till
could go get a cord real quick.
you can go get it. Yeah, you know what? I'll just
Yeah.
put me on for a second. You want to just
Okay.
all right.
Okay. Hold the fort down.
I'm holding the fort down. So we've talked about P Diddy and lawsuits. We didn't get enough into that. We're talking about Ozempic. Like to me, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. The Ozempic thing, I'd rather be like on like food will kill me just as quickly as drugs will. Like so, if I were 400 pounds, I'm doing Ozempic. If I were 300 pounds, I'd do Ozempic. If I were 200,
Um,
if I were 250 pounds, I'd do Ozempic. I don't know what compelled Lottie Moss to do Ozempic when she was 110 pounds, but that shit's crazy. Are you back? You got your cord?
I'm back. One thing though, I couldn't get the charger thing. But I have like about 4% on my laptop, and we'll
you can
probably
just
wrap up this show in like 5 minutes anyway. So
Well,
because
hang
we're
on,
almost at an hour.
But go to invite and invite yourself, and then just hit your phone. Why am I not?
Oh,
hearing you?
but or I could charge but then I wouldn't be able to use this mic. I'll just use the laptop mic.
All right, so do that. You cool?
Or we just wrap up the show in like a few minutes. I don't know. You want to keep talking?
Listen, that's all I do. He used to
Okay,
drink a
hold
lot.
on. Okay, all right. I'll just do that then. I'll just charge.
But you can just send a
Guys,
link.
this is live.
You can send a link to your phone
And
just pop up your phone. See this link that I just.
I found the cord. Hold on. I might be able to charge. Hold on.
All right, cool. So anyway, so I would take Ozempic in a heartbeat, but it's amazing to me that the food companies. I hear a heartbeat, then the music goes down. But you know, like I want to hear comments from people too. Like if you're in a wheelchair because of obesity, an electric wheelchair, and you could take Ozempic, would you take Ozempic? Like I just don't see any downside. Like I don't like the fact that the drug companies are predatory, but I don't like that the food companies are predatory. So you got to pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
So Ozempic to me, now it was originally for diabetes. It wasn't for, but they're saying it cures shopping too. How is that possible? So if you're a shopaholic,
Shopping. I don't get it.
they're saying that there's something in the brain. Maybe it's from the gut to the brain or the brain to the gut, but they're saying it suppresses impulsive behavior.
Oh, that's what they're saying?
That's what I mean. Because I forgot what it was, but I do have a friend who's on Ozempic, and I'm going to get him on here. We need to talk. Hey, dudes, we need to talk.
I have a friend who's on Ozempic too, but he's a real addict. Like, as far as like, hold on, technical difficulties.
It's all good.
Okay. Lord, that's how you know this is live. All right. Okay, now we're good now. Okay. I'm not gonna crash. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I do want to kind of segue into another topic.
Go.
So okay, you want to do the Kendrick Lamar thing or the Theo Von and Bobby Lee?
Let's do the Theo Von and Bobby Lee because we can do Kendrick Lamar first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am a huge fan of Theo Von podcast, and so is Eric Miranda here, I think, right?
Love him.
Anyway, so he had so Theo Von had Bobby Lee on the show, and it's like when Bobby Lee goes on his show, you know, not my favorite. Him and Drewski, I think, probably like my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
They're so funny together. Anyway, so Bobby Lee was talking about why he has a hard time getting into, or like I think he was saying why it's hard for him to like be committed or find a woman to be in a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he said, and I would like to discuss it. And I also would like to discuss what comes after that. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is Bobby explaining to Theo Von why he has why he ain't got a woman. All right. Okay.
When
it's this. You want me to say or not? No.
Oh wait, is this on like super speed? Okay, hold on. Sorry. Sometimes I do this
fast.
This yeah. Okay.
It's this. You want me to say or not?
No.
Okay,
But I want to say that. Don't say
won't
that.
say
Yeah. But what I want to say is the problem with us, because number one, we go up on stage, right? And what's more exciting than that? The business inherently is super exciting, and there's dopamine hits.
Right, I'm going to get a lot of feeling from right there.
Right. And so then also, you and I are also recovering drug addicts, so we like excitement, right? and we don't like the same old thing, right? So there is something about meeting somebody new, right?
Right. It's almost like you get that. Yeah. You get that for
I'm sorry. That's why your ass is single.
Wait, what?
All right. I'm gonna let him finish, but what is it with men always like with the novelty thing? Jeez. All right. Okay, hold on. Like once you've had one vagina, they're all the same, right?
That's not.
Kinda.
Oh my
Kind
god.
of. That's not true.
We that's a whole episode right there.
All right. Let me let him finish, and then we'll talk. Okay.
forgetful syndrome. It's like you.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and I've never said this out loud before, and I think I fucked it up with Kalila.
Okay, so that's when he starts talking about how he fucked things up with his ex-girlfriend.
Mhm.
That's like beautiful and amazing, but he had to just go and see what was out there,
Right.
and now he can't find anyone to measure up. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
But the first part, what do you think about that, Eric? You're an artist. You've been on tour. You're a former womanizer, I guess. Right? Is that true that like you get such a dopamine hit on stage as an artist that you I mean, what did he say really? What was your takeaway?
He's like doing like so he needs the dopamine hit constantly. I think what it is, I'm going to tell you what and no offense to Bobby Lee,
Mhm.
but he's not an attractive man.
Wow. Okay.
And now he's a celebrity, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you have these celebrity hounds, men and women, who are
Mhm.
attracted to fame, they're attracted to money, and also now you got this guy who's never gotten any tail in high school,
Yeah.
and now there's tail available, and he can't
Mhm.
he can't, like, there's no natural process for him. It's
Ah.
kind of like, it's like when people win lottery. I know a dude who
Yeah.
won the lottery, and they gave him like $2 million a year
Yeah.
for the rest of his life, and whatever the
Mhm.
number was, and he would have his, I swear to God, his car got repossessed because he blew through $2 million in the first half of the year, and then was in debt until he got the next money. So he wasn't rich because he built rich. He was
Mhm.
rich because he came into a bunch of money. And I think Bobby Lee isn't a man. He's not a ladies' man. He's not a guy who builds relationships and nurtures his relationships. He came into the lottery of women. Now he's on stage and famous, and he doesn't know how
Yeah.
to handle it. He's an
That's a very
overspender.
interesting. That's a very interesting assessment because one thing that you are right about, I think, is that I think he
always right.
met. And you're always right. He met his ex-girlfriend that he's now like regretting things with before he kind of had this like rise to stardom. I mean, people kind of knew who he was as a comedian, but he not where he is now, where most people know who he is, right? Like your
Right.
average person, like me, I know who he is, right? And I didn't know who he was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, maybe. Yeah, so maybe you're right. Maybe he started getting more attention from women and he thought, I got this. Like, I'm that guy, right? And to a certain extent, he is, right? Because he has more money and that's part of the appeal in a man. I mean, in
Are
any
you
person.
allowed to say
really.
that? Are you?
No, I'm just keeping it real. Like, I think, and I'm not just saying it's an appeal in men. It's just like appeal in general because it signals success, and success is appealing,
Yeah,
whether you're a
totally.
man or a woman, right? So
Or
it's
both.
not even a gender thing. It's like whether you're a man or a woman, like it's not as important for women because women, we have other ways of sort of like making ourselves appealing, makeup, hair, and this and that, whatever. Guys don't have as much resources in that regard, I think. I mean,
Muscles.
yeah.
We need muscles.
Yeah, because I think like a woman can really go from like a 2 to like an 8 with just like makeup and an Instagram filter, right? A guy can't really do that in the same way. You know what I mean? It's true. It's true. Like most of the people that are like 8s and 9s or even 10s on Instagram are like 2s and 3s in real
Yeah.
life. I'm not saying that in a disparaging way. I'm just saying like this is the reality of filters,
Yeah.
right?
I have a filter on right now.
You do?
Yeah. If I take my filter off, I turn into a pumpkin.
I don't have a filter on. How do you put on a filter?
You go to settings.
Hold on.
I'm going to take mine off just so people know that I'm
All
not.
right, you go to settings and then you go
It says
touch up my appearance.
Yep.
All right, let's try it. Let me see if I get cute. Let me touch up my parents. So what does it do? It just like makes your skin
It's
smoother.
just-
Okay.
yeah, but
So this is me without, and now hold
I
on.
can't tell the difference with you.
Okay, so now I have it on. Oh yeah, it didn't change anything.
No, you have good
So
skin.
I guess I'm like a filter.
You're a filter. Well, they say black don't crack. You're gonna be like that
Oh.
when you're 80.
No, it's true. Black don't crack. It's true.
And yeah, my face is made out of glass. What I do is I don't wear a ponytail because I like having long hair. It's because I pull it so tight that it gives me like a facelift.
Oh.
Hey, so we're at the top of the hour. I have to go to Philadelphia, by the way. What's that joke? Groucho Marx? First prize.
I don't know that joke.
The joke is he says, first prize a week in Philadelphia. And somebody said, what's second prize? No. He says, second prize is a week in Philadelphia. No, I have it backward. First prize a week in Philadelphia. What's second prize? 2 weeks in Philadelphia. So,
yeah, that went over my head. Sorry.
Yeah. No, well, just meaning that nobody wants to go to Philadelphia.
Oh,
I'm actually
okay.
going to Barrington, New Jersey.
What's there?
I have to get my guitars worked on. I'm having a problem with a very expensive guitar of mine, and there's only one guy authorized in the United States to work on it, warranty-wise, so I'm doing that. And I was just saying this morning in the bathroom, I'm brushing my teeth, and I'm thinking, I'm not a musician any longer. And then I thought, what do I have to do today? Oh, I have to get all my guitars worked on so I can do my guitar videos. So I guess I am a musician.
You are a musician. Once a musician, always a musician. It's in your blood.
So, hey, sometime this week, I'm going to try and come up with a track. Do you want to freestyle over a track on the show?
We can do that. We'll talk about it. We'll see what's going on with the sound and everything.
Cool. All right. Hey, are you?
Oh, you know what I want to? I want a segment on the show, maybe on Fridays or something, where we talk about like what's going on in like Black celebrity world.
Listen, I'm all about the Black celebrity world. No, like I'm sure. Listen,
I want to get you hip. Do you know what Zeus is, Eric Miranda?
do I know?
Have you heard of Zeus?
Have I heard of Zeus? I have
Have
not.
Have you heard of the network Zeus? All right, I'm
No.
gonna school you on Zeus.
But am I allowed to be on Zeus? Is it like a thing?
I don't think you would be on Zeus, but it's a network, basically like a Black network, and there's a lot of ratchet TV on there, and I do partake. It's my guilty pleasure. And I would like to do a little segment on what's going on there. I'll send you episodes and we'll talk about it.
You got to remember, you live in Sweden. I actually know Black people. You don't. So
what are you talking about? I totally lived in the U.S. like half my life.
Oh my God, Sweden.
I can't believe a white man just told me he knows more Black people than me.
But it may be.
That's
true.
crazy. That's like. Is white delusion a word? Because if it's not, that should be a word. White delusion.
I think I may have just created white delusion.
You created a thing where a white person tells me that they're more Black than me. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, didn't Joe Biden tell Charlemagne de God that he wasn't Black? He said, if you don't know you're voting for me, he said, you're not Black.
Well, it's kind of like when he tells Kamala Harris, where he's like, well, are you Black? Or are you not? I don't know what she is. Is she Black? Is she not Black? I don't know. It's like, come on, dude.
So I just learned from the President of the United States how to be white delusional.
Delusion.
I'm totally
we're past the white privilege. Now we're going into like white delusion. Actually, and that's a perfect segue into tomorrow's episode where we're going to talk about the Kendrick Lamar thing, right?
Yeah.
And so you guys have to tune in tomorrow to hear us talk about white delusion and Kendrick Lamar. So if you're curious, join us tomorrow.
Cool.
All right. So I'm going to
sign out.
Yeah, let me do the little outro thing.
All right, cool.
All right, bye guys. Thanks for tuning in. Later.